Hey all, and this is the final Judgement event. This is a Fire Slayer event and Immortal Killer. I've made up a few teams, but I think my Water Slayer team at the end is going to do more damage than my Fire teams, unfortunately. I'm still struggling to make up a really strong Fire team. You can make something based around this though, if you have the event deck. This is quite a strong combination for events. You'll just use the event ultimate form with Heretic Hunters and another Fire Slayer card that boosts either damage or attack. You might not even need Heretic Hunters if you can convert the board. Anyway, here's the team. I will talk through the important teams from left to right. Blitzkrieg Beasts. This is an old Immortal Killer card. 6 pink stars though. 5 times awakened. For that reason, it does reasonable damage when boosted up. Only creates a few fire power gems though, as you can see. Heretic Hunters. This is basically the conversion card. After using Metaverse Masters, this is required to convert all the dark gems to fire. That's basically its only use on the team. District Defenders. This increases Fire Slayer attack by 200% when ambushing. That's the main reason it's on the team. It would be nice to have something that increases Fire Slayer damage though. Then High Performance Unit Area, used to get supercharged up, increases Immortal Killer attack by 2500%. Then Metaverse Masters. This is basically used to boost up Blitzkrieg Beasts. So yeah, pretty complicated team to a certain extent. Once you've used it a few times though, it's not too bad. The way to use this team is use High Performance Unit Area. When the enemy's turn counter is on 1, that gets supercharged up. Then use Metaverse Masters. Then after that, Blitzkrieg Beasts, or if you had the Event Ultimate form, you would use that instead. Then some sort of card that converts the dark gems to fire. There are no doubt better options you can use instead of this, but this is what I'm using for my team. Then some sort of card that boosts up Fire Slayer damage. Then for the relics, I need 2 relics to break the shields. That's the 1st and 5th relic. Then 2 of my best relics, then Raised Staff. Here's the first shield breaker relic. An old Immortal Killer water relic. Then this is just one of my best Fire Slayer relics, as I mentioned. This one's pretty old, but again, it's one of my better relics, so worth having on the team, I think. Then Raised Staff. That has that percentage increase to attack, which is always useful. Then finally, this relic here, you can see, breaks 2 Immortal Shield plus 1 per Fire Slayer Ultimate Hero on the team. So the 2 relics are enough to break all the shields. So there we go, that's my main Fire Slayer hitting team. This team was just used to level up the solo bosses. Not much point in talking too much about this since it didn't really do any damage. So let's move on to this Commander team. This does reasonable damage, so worth talking about, I think. Brothers in Arms, the first card, increases Fire Commander damage by 120%. Avenging Furies. This is Immortal Killer, so you could try boosting this up with Area if you did want to use a Commander team. You can see here, grants the next Fire Commander to use their battle skill a 200% damage buff. So you can use it to boost up itself or boost up another card. In this situation, it's used to boost up Heretic Hunters. Increases self-damage by 275%, which is always nice. Then Exalted Champions again. Another card that increases Fire Commander damage. Then Arcane Masters again increases Fire Commander damage. So a nice and easy left to right team. Similar sort of thing with the relics though, just the 1 relic to break the shields. Raised Staff again is on the team. And here is Ray's staff with that percentage increase to attack again, plus a few other bonuses on the relic. This is a pretty decent relic. It's a chaotic relic. 3 pink stars, maxed out level. This one here, 2 pink stars, maxed out level. This is the Immortal Shield Breaker relic for Commander. Breaks 3 Immortal Shield, plus 1 per Fire Commander Ultimate Hero on the team. So even if I put Metaverse Masters on the team, this would still break all of the shields. Then this relic here, just an old noble relic. Only 1 pink star, unfortunately. There we go, that's my Commander team anyway. And then finally my Water Slayer team. I know the enemies are Earth, but a Water Slayer team like this one always does pretty reasonable damage. So let's talk through the team quickly. Holiday Saints, this gives the next water hero to activate their battle skill a 500% damage buff. This works on commander cards as well. Metaverse Masters with that 150% damage buff. Both used to boost up Sovereigns of the Dance. Increases self-damage, converts the gems as well. Frontier Titans, this has a decent increase to Water Slayer damage. Then finally, High Performance Unit Area. That's used to boost up Sovereigns of the Dance with that lovely supercharged buff. This is actually quite similar to the team you can see over here, just it's water instead. Very similar concept anyway. And with the relics for this team, if you do want to use a Water Slayer team and are struggling for ideas, Cater's Bow is on this team with that percentage increase to attack plus the other bonuses it gives as well. Then just an old Water Slayer relic there, an Arcane relic there. Here's an Immortal relic to break the shields, or help break some of them. It also needs this relic though to finish breaking the shields for the Umbral bosses. And there we go, that's the teams I have available for this event. It's kind of difficult to suggest any other options. All of the best decks are using Area and Metaverse Masters. Area used to boost up the event ultimate form. Any cards that increase Fire Slayer damage or attack can be useful as the other 2 cards. I've also seen Culinary Kings used in a few decks, mainly because it has that upgrade, upgrades all fire power gems on the board to be 2 ranks higher. It's worth trying anyway if you are struggling for ideas. Anyway, I think we're about done with the ideas and teams for this event, so let's move on to the actual event itself. Here we go. Alright, so here we go. The actual event is pretty much just a standard event. I have a couple of Umbral bosses on the screen. I will go ahead and test out my teams on them. I will attack the one that's locked. It has Weaken on it, so will be the more difficult out of the bosses. Right, so let's start with my main Fire Slayer team. See how well I get on with this. Right, here we go. So the idea behind this team, you want to get Area going when the boss's turn counter is on 1. So something like this to start with, match the fire gems. Then next turn use Metaverse Masters and hopefully something will crush together. Unfortunately it didn't on this attempt. Weaken has been dispelled though, so I can still get Area going. That's one of the benefits of using Metaverse Masters on the team. It does dispel Weaken some of the time. Then basically just go like this. Metaverse Masters is used to boost up Blitzkrieg Beasts or the event ultimate form if you have it. Then conversion card. Then a card that increases damage or attack. It did okay damage, around 12Q across all of the cards. Not spectacular though, unfortunately. And now the enemy has hit me with weaken, which is kind of annoying. Let's see if it disappears or not. Also, bear in mind, District Defenders was an ambush card. I think I'll just start again with this. Yeah, weaken is a pain if it does not counter, and half the bosses are going to have weaken on. So this team could be potentially useful, but I don't think it was that effective. This won't do too much. My commander team is okay. I'll just show you all what it does. Right, here we go. So this is just a left to right team, no Metaverse Masters, so I don't think we will have a weaken counter this time around. I'm not sure if there was one or not. Let's see how much damage this does anyway. I don't think it's spectacular, but it's worth a try. Yeah, that wasn't a very good grid. 4.8 Q on Heretic Hunters. Let's see what happens. I think I'd need to try this with Metaverse Masters instead, just for the weaken counter, as now this doesn't really do anything. Well, I've been weakened, what I'm trying to say, so yeah, there's not a huge amount I could do from here, unfortunately. There's no weaken counter by the looks of it. You can see here, pretty much every single card is blocked because of weaken, so let's quit out of that. Right, so let's try this again, this time with Metaverse Masters on the team. See if it makes too much of a difference or not. Then after this, I'll try my Water Slayer team and see what that does. I know it's Earth enemies, but it's still worth a try, I think. It's not an event I really will be playing much, though, so it doesn't matter how much damage I can do. The first option is probably the best option for those with the event deck, something based around that. Let's see this damage, though. So that's not too bad, actually. 11.8 Q for a commander deck. I did have a better board than in my previous attempt, though. I think I'm not going to be able to get Metaverse Masters back up. That's the main problem here. Let's see if... Yeah, there's no Dark Gems. I could try without Metaverse when weaken counters. There we go. It's not going to be spectacular, but worth a try. Let's see. Yeah, just under 2Q. Let's quit out here and try the water team. Right, and here is the Water Slayer team. I don't know how effective this will be, but it's worth a try. I think it might actually do more than my Fire Slayer team, believe it or not. I'm about to find out, though. Here we go. This is the final team I'm testing on the bosses. You can see none of my teams are exactly spectacular. There's not really much I can do, though, until the Drill Fist offer appears. Then have a look at that and see if that helps my teams or not. This gives you a few ideas, though, of things you can use. So hopefully it's still been helpful doing this. Let's give this a go anyway. Left to right. See how much damage this does. See what sort of board I get as well. Now that's one loose power gem at the top. The damage is, yeah, well higher. 31.8 Q. That's not bad, actually. Not bad at all for a water team on an earth boss. But yeah, my fire team still doesn't really compare to this, so I'm using my Water Slayer team again this event. My old faithful deck, so to speak. There we go. I'll do one more attack and then I will quit out of this battle. See what sort of board I get this time around. It's about the same sort of board as I had last time, so it should be around 31Q again. Yeah, not far off, 29.3. Let's quit out anyway. There we go, that gives you an idea of the teams I have available for this event. A difficult event for me, but not one I'm planning to play much, so it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and claim the event rewards. Then I'll talk through all the decks from this season. All really strong decks again, so hard to say which is my favourite or least favourite. So it is a Hammer GVG collection. Mostly old rewards though. Only really useful to newer players. The gold legend summoning tokens though are always useful. Plus the season choice coins. Plus the silver tokens. So yeah, a mixture of reasonable rewards and a few junky items mixed in there as well. Go ahead and claim all of this. There we go, we're done with the claiming. Right, so let's back out of here. And go ahead and claim the random 6-star hero. Right, here we go, let's go ahead and craft this. What are we going to get? Well, we will find out. Oh, that's an old, I think, either main or support hero. I don't think that's going to help me too much, unfortunately. But while I'm here, we might as well have a look at the event ultimate form and the 2 cards that make this up. So, Diabolical Dynasts, I think I said that right, increases self-damage by 400%. That's the main selling feature of this deck. Creates a few fire power gems. You will need other cards to make this work, but that is a huge boost, and that in itself probably makes this deck worth getting, plus it's immortal killer. But out of the 2 individual cards, there's not much point in getting either, unfortunately, on their own. A self-damage buff on a non-event ultimate form is not going to help you too much. And if we go across to the other card, Lord Grellin has damage immunity, creates power gems, but no damage buff, so that is not really worth getting on its own either. You need to get both of the cards, or neither of the cards. One card won't help you this time around. But yeah, very strong deck. Immortal Killer plus damage increase of 400%. Worth getting if you need a strong Fire Slayer deck. This should take care of most of the enemies and bosses pretty quickly. Probably doing over 500Q with the right combination of cards. Right, so now let's have a look at the decks from the season. So from best to worst, in my opinion, this is going to be quite difficult, but I think the Light Commander deck is the best deck from this season. The reason I'm saying this is because not only was the damage buff huge, but there are not many other Light Commander cards that have decent damage buffs on them. So this is quite an unusual card for that reason. Also very useful in GVG, takes care of all those nasty dark defences. So yeah, I think this is the first choice of deck to get. Then if we go back, I would say the Dark Commander deck is my second choice. If we have a look at this, you can see 550% to one card is actually huge. Plus creates power gems. Plus a nice damage immunity as well. Might be useful for GVG. Huge buff on it though. I'd rate this my second choice of deck to get. But yeah, if you don't like Commander, obviously you're probably not going to want to get either of these decks. But in my opinion, these are the best 2 decks. And then, well, I think the Fire Slayer deck, this has a really nice increase to self-damage. Of course, you will need other cards to make this work, but 400% plus Immortal Killer definitely makes it the best Slayer deck out of the season, in my opinion. Those two Commander decks, though, really are awesome decks. But this is a good Slayer deck. Then probably the Earth Slayer deck next. If we have a look at this, this is a good deck, but compared to the other decks, it's one of the weaker decks. Only 200% damage buff increase. It does have a revive on the deck as well, plus the ambush, so yeah, a good deck, just not quite as good as the other decks. Then to finish off, we have that Water Slayer deck at the top. Still a good deck, may I add, but compared to the other decks, probably the weakest deck in the season. 175% damage buff. Not too many other skills as well, so yeah, definitely the weakest deck in the season, but still a good deck. And there we go, I think that about covers the decks from this season and my opinions on them. From best to worst, in my opinion, light, then dark, then fire, then earth, then water. So there we go. And now to finish off this video, let's have a quick look at the news feed. There is a Vanguard pack as well. You can get potentially Vanguards on the early tiers. You can see here, all the tiers have Vanguards or Wardens. I would have thought most of the tiers will give Wardens. It's not something I'm going to be buying into anyway. There was a guaranteed Vanguard as well. Anyway, let's have a look at this news feed. Vault Jackpot is back. Yeah, I never saw any Vault Jackpots, unfortunately, but I didn't buy too far into the Vault. A few potentially decent items available there from the Jackpot. Then the meme contest winners as well. Not too much of interest to talk about here, if I'm being honest, so I think we will end the video at this point. I believe that was from the last event, so there we go. I think we're going to wrap up this video at this point. Hope that was interesting and helpful. As always, if you do have any questions or suggestions regarding this video, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to help. If you did enjoy this video, giving it a like and subscribing is always appreciated. Thank you to those that have already subscribed. We have a previous video on the screen, plus a playlist, plus you can also subscribe from here if you want to do so. And thanks for watching.